Hello and welcome once again to the Windy City's finest, on location with Mac and Perry. He's Mac, I'm Perry, and this is
Eric Dyck.
Yes, thank you so much for agreeing to meet with us and spend your time and energy with us. I'm very much looking forward to it.
Thanks for having me.
And our first segment is going to be just some icebreaker games. We got 3 of them lined up, and I'm super excited to dive in. So I think let's just dive in.
Okay.
Our first segment is our trivia questions about Lethbridge in the spirit of being on location here.
Are you from Lethbridge?
I am not from Lethbridge.
No, I didn't either. So.
Oh, okay, interesting. Right. Okay.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. So our first question for you is, the first mayor of Lethbridge was A, Sir Alexander Galt, B, William Henderson, C, Charles Alexander McGrath, or D, Nicholas Sharon?
Galt, I don't think I ever actually set foot here.
Right.
I think they were just kissing up to him with the naming everything Galt, because he was the one funding all the coal mining.
Right.
The second one was?
William Henderson.
Okay, so he wasn't the first. He was the one that died while they were making the slough all pretty, and so then they named it after him. He died in his office.
Oh my gosh.
Who was number 3? Or
Number 3 was Charles Alexander McGrath.
I'm going to say that one because I don't know anything about him, and I know that Nicholas Sharon was just a guy that was hanging out, digging coal and running the ferry over the river.
Right on.
And he drowned in the Old Man River, so we named a swimming pool after him.
As you do, as you do. Oh my gosh, Fortune Stores, I love all those tidbits. Thank you so much for sharing those. And yeah, you got it right.
That's what you get with me, I'm sorry.
No, don't apologize for that. That's
so am
awesome.
I right?
You were right.
Hey.
Yeah, Charles Alexander McGrath.
All right.
So we'll read the first
All
one.
right.
And this is trivia about Mac for me.
That you don't know.
That I do not.
That this
well,
is happening.
in theory, hopefully I do. But
Or that you don't know. Okay. You know what the question is. All right. Mac has been involved with many events at CASA over the years in different roles. The first was A, as an MC for the Allied Arts Council's 60th anniversary, B, as a circus artist for the Soar Cabaret, C, as an art model for CASA's drawing classes, ooh la la, D, as an improv actor with New West Theatre.
Oh, and the question was the first.
The first, yes, first engagement.
I'm going to go with the circus performer.
The circuit, yes.
Yay! I got it right. Amazing. Okay.
And so that would have been 10 years ago,
10
because
years ago.
CASA just had their 10th anniversary last year.
Oh, right on. Perfect. Well, awesome. I got it right. 1 for 2. Okay. My next question for you is, Lethbridge's motto is A, a place to grow, B, bridging communities, C, the Windy City, or D, gateway to opportunity?
Oh, Lord. Can I hear A again?
A was a place to grow.
That feels like a committee, so I'm going to say A.
A? Unfortunately not.
No.
I think that's
What
one
is
of
it?
the neighboring communities.
It's definitely not the Windy City, is it?
It is not the Windy
No.
City, unfortunately. We obviously think it should be. But it was D, gateway to opportunity.
Gateway. Well, all right.
Yeah, adopted in 1907.
Is opportunity east or west? Okay, never mind.
Our next little game that we're going to play is just this or that. So I'll let you do the honors and pick the first one.
Sure.
Read
And
it
these
out.
aren't Lethbridge specific. They're just
No,
okay.
they're just people-specific
All right.
things. So I'll let you do the honors and
Into
you can
the
read
circus
it
hat.
out.
All right. Here we go.
Yeah.
Lake or ocean?
Lake. I'll go first. Lake or ocean? I think I would go ocean. I just think there's some like the power of it is just unbelievable, and I feel like I need to respect it. So that's what I would say. What would you say?
So one thing about me is I grew up, born and raised in Alberta, but for about 6-7 years, we ran away to the Maritimes. And so I've actually only been to the East Coast.
Okay.
I've never been to the West Coast, so I've never been to the Pacific.
Okay.
It was amazing, but also super intimidating. So when we lived out there, I would be super careful about reading the tide charts and asking locals about safety and things like that. And they would kind of roll their eyes because they're all used to it. But for us, it was kind of we weren't as used to water trying to kill us as being on the prairies.
Totally, yeah. Landlocked. Alberta.
So I will say lake, because the ocean's super scary. My most memorable experience on a lake was making chili in the frost on the rocks of Lake Superior and getting into space. Like those lakes, you can't even see across them. So they are a much more chill ocean as far as I was concerned.
Right. Yeah. Maybe not trying to kill you as much.
Right.
Perfect.
Well,
that's what we
Edmund
like.
Fitzgerald and all that, but all
right. Right on. Very cool. Okay. Let's move swiftly along to our next little game here. Tumbling towers. Ooh. So each block corresponds to a question. I have the questions right here. And just as a
oh my goodness,
just as a nice reminder.
Okay. So there's a number, and then
we'll just get through however many we get through. We can't pick from the top 3. And whichever block you pull, you have to put back on the top.
All right.
I'll let you do the honors. No pressure. It hasn't fallen yet. But we are waiting for that day.
I don't think I've ever played tumbling towers before. This is very intimidating.
So you'll either be really good or it'll fall. But I believe in you.
Do I commit if it's not working out?
I wouldn't. I would go somewhere else. Yeah, usually you can find one that's loose. Yeah. 37. Awesome. And then that just goes back on the top.
Doesn't matter where.
Pattern. Perfect. 37. What's one thing you're always misplacing?
My drawing glove.
Drawing glove?
When I draw digitally, I do wear an anti-fouling glove so that my stylus is the only thing interacting with the digital surface. Right. But usually your hand sticks, or I don't want it to think my hand is drawing when it should be the stylus. So I wear a dorky little glove, and always trying to figure out where I put those things down. So I bought 10 of them.
Oh, amazing. There you go.
Now they're everywhere.
Yeah, and you don't have to worry about it. Perfect. For myself, like sometimes my phone, sometimes I like to just leave it and then forget about it. But then I need it at some point, inevitably. Otherwise, I'm not sure what else I lose. I'll think about that more. But we'll keep moving on. My turn. Let's see if I can find one that's loose. Right there.
Jealous.
Yeah. Number 5 is, what was your very first job?
I have to think about that. I think it was a swimming instructor.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. And what brought you to that?
It was the only skill set that I had that people were offering money for
at the time.
Yeah. I think, so I grew up in a very close-knit church, close-knit in that everybody else stay away. So right away, as soon as you were old enough, you were supposed to pay the indoctrination forward. And so you were teaching Sunday school classes very, very young. And so I was very comfortable already in that setting. And that does also lead into some of the drawing work that I do. But so just to be in front of a group of kids and telling them what to do came fairly easily to me because I'd been in it so young. And so that was something that a lot of other people wouldn't have been comfortable doing. And I could jump into it.
That's awesome. That is all the time we have for this segment. So thank you so much for indulging us with our games.
My pleasure.
It's been lovely to get to know you, and I can't wait to hear some more in-depth interview questions with Mac in the next segment. But this has been the Windy City's Finest, on location with Mac and Perry. He's Mac, I'm Perry, and this has been
Eric Dyck.
We'll be right back.
Welcome to the Windy City's Finest, on location with Mac and Perry. I'm Mac, he's Perry, and this is
Eric Dyck.
Eric Dyck. Swim instructor / cartoonist.
That's going back a bit.
Right. So Eric, we're going to learn all about your art. We have a little piece back here, but we're going to learn all about what you do. So what is your art, Eric?
I am a cartoonist, nonfiction cartoonist and art educator, working here in Lethbridge. And all of the work that I do is hopefully going towards some kind of community communication or helping people understand the place they are a little better.
Yeah, and I'm very familiar with your art. It's all around town, and it's very lovely. Everyone loves it. So, so I guess let's go back to the very beginning, maybe post-swim instructor, I don't know, but when did you first start drawing or being interested in drawing?
Drawing, it's always been. I don't remember before. it's always been what I was excited about, what I was interested in, what I wanted to get better at. And it's always been kind of how I process things. And so if I had to figure something out, it was always going to be on paper with a pencil. Yeah.
And what do you like about that medium?
It's just always been mine. Whether it's because I was grappling with expressing things other ways, or I always like to think of comics as two different literacies, and so there's the verbal or word communication and then the images happening, and I always take things in that way, I think that way, and see the world that way, and so it comes out that way as well.
Yeah, so it was very naturally, so it's yours.
Yeah. And so, I mean, with my generation, comics had been around for, pushing 75 years or whatever, and it was easy for me to find and consume. It maybe wasn't the best quality always that I was getting my hands on, but it was always where I was drawn to. It was always going to be what I was excited about.
Yeah. Did you have any favorite comics growing up?
I didn't have access to a lot of newer stuff, so I was limited to what either was in my extended family or at the library. And growing up in Red Deer, the library was limited to some fairly dusty old tomes. So primarily what I got my hands on was old newspaper comics. So always black and white, usually poorly printed. And so Peanuts primarily, and read a lot of Pogo. I don't know if you're familiar with Pogo by Walt Kelly. It was like a pseudo-political comic strip, but all the words were spoken by talking hillbilly swamp animals, and so he could get away with a lot of stuff that maybe you couldn't have a person saying. Maybe that's what I loved about Peanuts too, because he was dealing with a lot of very grown-up issues, but because the dialogue was coming out of little kids, he could get away with a lot on the page that you maybe couldn't. As I got older, just anything Bill Watterson made, so Calvin and Hobbes, just gobbled up everything.
Yeah. Nice. That's great. And then, so you obviously said, drawing was yours when you were growing up, and something it felt like your thing to do. When did you start taking it further? When it started to become more than just something you did as a form of expression, or like more professional, let's say?
That happened fairly quickly, in part because growing up in a church that was very quick to put whatever it is you're good at to work. I got put to work, whether it was doing illustrations for Sunday school or for sermons or things like that, at a weirdly young age. And so that got it in my head very quickly that drawings could have a job to do. For a comic that I did just a couple years ago, I actually went back in the archives and found the first time I taught comics or publicly was getting paid to encourage other people to make comics and draw cartoons was 30 years ago this year. So that's kind of wild.
Yeah, time flies, I guess. Yeah.
So that started very early too, and that's probably came out of that proselytizing kind of environment that I was in. It's tell the good story of cartooning and comics.
Yeah, no, that's really interesting. Background story on that. Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
It wasn't always positive or encouraged, and so any cartoonist will certainly have stories of drawing comics where they weren't supposed to, be it math class or funerals or whatever. But even furthering education and getting serious about getting better at being an artist was something that was really discouraged. People in the church even came up and told my parents if they let me go to art school that the devil would get me and they'd never get me back. So it was a bit intimidating or even a bit weird to kind of leave my little bubble to go and do that. But art school is not always necessarily the best thing for a cartoonist who is very stuck or very narrow-minded about what they should make and what they should do. And something that I tell my students is to you're in an environment where you're going to pick up all kinds of different skills. Some of them are going to be a good fit for you, some of them aren't, but the cartoonist you are when you get out of that fine arts training is going to be very, very different and very rich compared to before.
Yeah, so how did your art school education change you as a cartoonist?
It's actually got me tapped into the history of making things a little better. So I didn't fully even understand this as a kid or a youth. It wasn't until college that it occurred to me that what I was doing was actually fairly in line with my family. So I'm actually a third generation printer. So my grandfathers, plural, printed small rural Alberta newspapers. So I've been around ink and been around printing presses and all of that for my whole life. My fond smells isn't, a certain kind of soup or pierogies or something. It's solvents and inks, which isn't great, but that's certainly what triggers for me nostalgia. So my dad was a pre-pressman for 35, 40 years, and I realized after I was well into it that I was actually falling pretty well in line with what that was. So my schooling in art school is actually printmaking. A lot of the work I do is digital. A lot of the work is for sharing online, but it's awfully good to reconnect with the analog stuff too.
Yeah, what's that experience like for you to go more analog?
It's always more tactile. It's always, sincere is not the right word, but it always feels more direct and rewarding. And that's something in my cartooning classes that I teach is analog only. Some kids are already so immersed in their devices that they create their art on there, but there's no tactile feedback. There's no getting to know the surface of the paper or getting to know the tools in quite the same way. A lot of drawing programs ape or mimic what it's like to draw analog. And so to better understand those tools, having analog experiences drawing, I find is really, really beneficial for a student. Even if their whole world, and if they get involved professionally, chances are it's going to be drawing on a glass screen with a stylus. And so it's a really good grounding and a really good foundation to build up on.
Yeah, interesting, yeah. Yeah, I guess, yeah, so not that there has to be a outcome for it, but with this printing press that you now have, like, are you intending to print things to sell, or is it just?
I already
yeah,
do,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
So one of the conditions of taking over the printing press from Jim Westergaard in Red Deer was I had to rename the press. And so it is newly christened the Slew Press in honor of the Slaughterhouse Slew comics that I've been making. And so I've been printing up old image blocks from that would have been used in the Delia Times newspaper in the 1920s and 30s. And so I've been making a line of greeting cards available in town, and people are really enjoying them already. And they're beautiful. Like they're cut by other people. These aren't artworks that I've made, but they're just blocks that I rescued from my grandpa's barn, and they are just intricate and beautiful. And so old kerosene tractors and garments of clothing, and even comic voice bubble images used for advertising back in those days. A lot of newspapers are digitized. I can go and chase and find the actual instance of where they were printed, except Delia Times newspaper has never been digitized. So if anyone out there has copies of the Delia Times from 1925 to 1945, I would absolutely love to see them. You probably aren't out there. Surprise me.
Yeah, right. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, yeah. Another part of like your artwork that if you notice around town, like it's very community orientated, right? It's all about Lethbridge and Lethbridge people and stuff. And yeah, I'm just curious what interests or inspires you about Lethbridge?
The interest is anywhere I am. And so it's not unusual for me to get invited somewhere and then to produce similarly themed artwork about that space. It happened when we ran away from Calgary during the oil boom in the early aughts. And I found myself living in New Brunswick and was blown away at how completely foreign and different everything there was. And I process things by drawing comics or writing stories and drawing pictures about it. And that happened to be just almost to the month when Facebook blew up in Canada. And so I was very easily sharing these comics with family back home to tell them about all the goofy things this prairie boy was experiencing. And because of social media being the way it was, other people started sharing it, and eventually locals started seeing it. And suddenly, not only was I getting to document these experiences and try to figure them out, but I was getting locals coming, hey, Alberta boy, come see this. You come check out this thing. And I would get invited to see things that I never would have had opportunity on my own. But even to be doing a comic as simple as how maple syrup really works and why the different grades and colors, what they really mean, that was something that was completely other to me. And for me to visually was the best way to try and depict some of that stuff. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. And like that, it also interests me, that science communication piece too, right? Was that always something that you were interested in?
Consuming.
Okay.
So that if there was a comic book like that that I could get my hands on, that's absolutely, I would be way more interested in that than a fiction comic. But even just the idea of sharing understanding or getting to know the community that I'm in better, more often than not, it's going to get down to some of the climate or physics or those sorts of things. I hope that I approach history in kind of the same way, where I'm if I'm telling a historical story or I'm digging into something that has some information like that, as I would if I was looking into science stuff, I'm going to find the people that know what they're talking about, but also find this. So my comics are fairly well known for having citations and footnotes and things like that, which might seem like overkill, but I like to have receipts.
Yeah, I assume a certain audience would appreciate that.
Yeah. And as the work that I do has changed over the last 10 years, and as it's becoming more political and looking at social things going on in the community, having receipts is really important, and being able to back up the things that you're sharing with people, information from people who know what they're doing. They're not just a cartoonist who's parachuting in and trying to figure things out.
That makes sense, yeah. Yeah, I guess that's a good transition, and maybe talk more about your comic, The Slaughterhouse Slew, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Tell me about
Were you familiar with the word slew? Had you heard that before?
Well, tell me about that.
Okay.
Yeah, tell me about the slew.
So slough is the word that I grew up with in central Alberta, and it just means a gross bog or swampy area in a pasture. But it has all kinds of other pronunciations, slough, slow, and slough. So can create some confusion, but for prairie folk, that most of them know it as the gross little wetland thing in a pasture. Slaughterhouse Slough isn't my word. It's actually the word for, it was the first settler name for the area that we know as Henderson Lake now. So before Lethbridge was big enough to be across the railway tracks out that way, it was the only place to go and cool down in hot July and August. And so people would walk down 7th Avenue South and actually leave the city, as it was, to go out to Slaughterhouse Slough. It was a sizable slough with fairly accessible edges at the base of the Pat Burns slaughterhouse. So there was some runoff. The water was super gross, and people got really sick and covered in lesions and leeches. And when they figured out how to test water, they built a swimming pool.
Okay. Now you know.
That's a story that a lot of people growing up here had no idea. And a lot of people who enjoy that park have no idea.
Yeah.
I don't know why tourism hasn't embraced a gross, disgusting water, slimy. Yeah. That's the kind of history that I enjoy. And even just naming the comic strip after that was just sort of, here's where we're going with the kind of stories that I'm going to be excited about and interested in.
Tell me more about the comic. So what actually led to you starting the Slaughterhouse Sleugh?
So I was drawing a sporadically weekly, monthly comic strip for the time that I was out east. And I maintained that as we'd cross the country in the car, and so was doing a few comics on the road. And then when we rolled into town, just renamed the comic and reached out to everybody, and Twitter was starting to get way more popular at that point than Facebook, and Lethbridge had a very strong Twitter community. And this had never happened before moving to a new place or a new city, but I had people calling out to me or saying, hey, you're the cartoonist, the first week that I was here, which I think Lethbridge is just full of nerds and people who are really excited about that stuff. So I was feeling very welcomed very quickly when we rolled into town here. And it wasn't very long before people were bringing me stories that were either particular to their family or were sharing experiences that I wouldn't have had access as just a stranger because they were seeing how I was treating stories or seeing how I was talking about other people in the community. They felt like I was an okay person to come talk to. And that also let me know that I was on constantly and that people were absolutely aware of how I conduct myself in the city and how I behave, and that someone might have known about me for 5 years and they finally bring me something that they would like me to look at or talk about, and that's pretty special. That hasn't happened before Lethbridge.
Cool.
As time went on, and we found ourselves in a pandemic and big government changes, I've always loved political cartooning. That for me is should be the ultimate explainer comic, is looking at what's happening to our community right now and being able to break that down and explain it with hopefully some helpful illustrations that make it all a bit easier to understand.
That's wonderful, yeah. Great, amazing. I think we're slowly running out of time here, so I have time for one more question. Something we always try to ask people is, how has your art, your cartooning, changed you as a person?
It has, in part, made me much more responsible. That maybe sounds weird. Cartooning has a long history of being terrible to other people, a long history of trafficking in stereotypes and being used for ill instead of good. And so I have had seen that happen in real time, where someone sees something really hurtful, or they know full well that something they would like to like is not meant for them and makes itself deliberately expressed that way. For myself, I've been much more keenly aware of the community that I'm participating in because I've been drawing comics about it, because I've been trying to not be that cartoonist historically, and that's meant that I need to, on a personal level, engage more appropriately with the communities around me.
Great, that's lovely, yeah. Yeah, well, it's been good chatting with you and to learn all about your art, and maybe we'll learn about your swim instruction next time. Yeah. This has been the Windy City's Finest On Location with Mac and Perry. I'm Mac, he's Perry, and this is
Eric Dyck.
We will be right back.
Hello, and welcome once again to the Windy City's Finest On Location with Mac and Perry. He's Mac, I'm Perry, and this is
Eric Dyck.
Thank you so much for being here. I thoroughly enjoyed your conversation with Mac in the previous segment, and I'm super excited to dive into our showcase segment with you. And we're going to utilize the TV monitor back here and dive into this first piece. I think let's just dive right in there. What can you tell me about this piece?
So this was actually commissioned by the Lethbridge Tourism, I don't know their official name.
Sure.
But they were commissioning different artists to do their own take on travel posters. And so for myself, just including all the different kinds of people that you might experience in the city, as well as just having fun visually with things that I think really stand out, whether it's the post office or rattlesnakes, of course, or showy milkweed, things that that weird guy with the bugle on Fifth Ave, all those kinds of things, just kind of a little bit of a celebration of that. But I also always sneak in things, and I just like the idea of the plants and the animals sort of taking the city over, and some of that returning to its original state. I get a kick out of images like that.
Yeah. And then like on a more technical kind of aspect of it, like where would you start with this piece specifically? Do you remember like what you started with or how it kind of came together?
So I went through a lot of the travel posters from the 30s and 40s. I just really liked their balance of the picture and the text and the words. For myself, I knew that I wanted to incorporate things knit together. And so we have buildings and the snakes and the people and public art happening. I wanted all those things to be related to each other somehow, and loving goofy monster movies and things like that, having the snake wrapping around the post office building was a no-brainer. But even playing with the different sizes and scale of things, I was trying to do something that cartooning can do well, which is communicate a lot of different ideas and time spaces within one picture. And the kind of vignette felt like the best way to do that. So the first thing that I probably would have tackled was figuring out each of the different elements, and if they would be up close or if they'd be far away, or if I'd sneak them in, like the family taking photos inside the rattlesnake's body there. And the rattlesnakes and the post office, I draw a lot just because I enjoy them, and so I sneak them into any project I can.
Yeah.
And so that would I was already quite comfortable with them being the centerpiece of the image.
Very interesting. I was also really curious about that idea of, it sounds like there's this element of like research that goes into your work, and I'm just wondering what else you could share about that, maybe specifically in relation to this.
So there are all kinds of wonderful wildlife photographers in Lethbridge. That's a whole community to itself that you could explore. But because rattlesnakes, this particular species of rattlesnake is really special to Alberta. It's the only part of southern Alberta is the only part where they have as a habitat. I've been smitten with them since we got here, and smitten with the way that people have a weird relationship with them. And that's something, anatomy that's quite foreign to me though. So I'll often be referring to not just beautiful photos taken by some of those great photographers in town, but I'll also head to the university library and find all the dusty, dorky anatomy books that can actually show me why their brow looks the way they do, or why their eyes are on the front or the side of their head, whatever it is. Yeah, I try to do my homework that way, yes.
Yeah. Let's see what we've got next. So this is a part of doing this in public, is that right? Yeah, and I'm just going to throw back to here. We actually have that kind of right there, is that right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Amazing.
So doing live drawing or street art has been part of my practice the whole time I've been in Lethbridge. I've been trying to do it more and more. I've been the cartoonist in residence at the University of Lethbridge Art Gallery for a number of years. And that has been not just a great time for me to engage with the public very directly, but also to kind of hone that skill and figure out what's appropriate and what can be accomplished on my little wooden drawing table in front of people like that. So quite often you can see there's other pieces of paper taped to the table where I will be drawing something that is from a conversation that I had half an hour, 45 minutes ago, but I've got little sketch pieces of paper where I'm trying to make eye contact with someone, having a live conversation with them, and then scribbling impressions from that in real time that I'll get to a little bit later that day, that sort of thing. So it can be quite a process.
Yeah, it sounds a little bit like juggling almost. Like, what can you tell me about that experience or that process, and just splitting your attention in that way between connecting with people and also doing what you love? Is there friction there, or is it like smooth now? Or
I think a lot of people are hesitant to do it because of the pressure of trying to draw their best, we'll say it that way, and be engaged. And I know that you're going to have to compromise somewhat, but this is also a very dynamic and exciting kind of environment, and so there's going to be a lot of energy in the drawing, even if some of the drawing is a little bit goofy because I'm distracted. Usually, though, it's not a problem because people are so blown away, that they're seeing someone make artwork they've seen somewhere, or just to be drawing in front of them, and B, that it's not precious and special and no, you can't look at it till I'm done, or hey, let's have a conversation, and maybe something that the two of us come up with will end up on paper. That goes a long ways towards demystifying art making, and that's something that's always been really important to me. And so doing it live in public is part of it, and collaborating with the public in a sense helps to make it less other and magical, and to know that this is okay for you to do too.
Beautiful. Okay, let's see what else we got here.
So chalk art is a big thing that has happened for a while in southern Alberta. I really enjoy it just because it's a very slow process, and in public events where people actually hang out with me for a little bit, tell me some stories, or I draw something where they're asking, they didn't know that there were scorpions in Lethbridge, or something like that, and then they'll go and participate in whatever that larger event is, music festival or farmer's market or whatever. Then they'll come back and they'll see the progress, and they'll know that this part got finished while they were actually with me having a conversation, and then they are connecting to it in a different way that maybe if they'd seen it on social media or just seen still photos, it wouldn't have been nearly as impactful. Yeah.
I do think that's all the time we have for this. I know that there's much more that we could have gotten to. I think this is a beautiful photo to end off on. Do you have any quick bit to share about
So
this?
this was drawn on the street right outside of the old music conservatory on 5th Avenue. Some people know it as the Spudnuts building, but it had this whole other history as a music studio and a dance studio dating back to 1910 or something like that. And so getting to draw something that would bring attention to that idea right in front of that building, get a huge kick out of, because there's going to be people who live right next to it who had no idea that the building's story went back that far, that kind of thing. Just, again, surprise people with the things that are part of their community that have always been there.
I love your attention to like history and how you try and bring that into your artwork and share that with people, because it's something everybody living here, we all are part of that now.
And it's very easy to take for granted.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think that's as good a moment as any to end off on. So thank you so much for your time today. This has been the Windy City's Finest on Location with Mac and Perry. He's Mac, I'm Perry, and this has been
Eric Dyck.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, folks.
It's Mac and Perry in the place. Da-na-na-na. Mac and Perry go live to create. Da-na-na-na. Mac and Perry invite you to stay.